Good evening and welcome to That BS Show. I'm Kimberly and this is my beautiful co-host Sarah Jane. And welcome, Sarah. How are you tonight?
What's up? I'm good.
What's
How are
up?
you? What's up? What's up, guys?
What's up, girl?
We're back for another round of shooting the shit, serving the tea. Do you like it
Yeah,
herbal or verbal? What do you
good one. I like it. I like it. Herbal or verbal?
do you like
Well,
it
it's
hot or iced? I like it
hot
always.
or ice.
I like the piping hot verbal tea.
Oh, right on. Well, maybe let's start with, I guess, maybe dishing the tea around the Diddy case and kind of been following that loosely now, um, just because it becomes more and more obvious that, I mean, it's a rabbit hole I don't need to be going down like that. Just updates are fine. I did go down the rabbit hole to kind of get some of the players and kind of some of the background on a lot of stuff that I hadn't paid attention
Yeah,
for
last week we kind of went into
ever.
it a little bit for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and so I was following it to the point of getting to know the players and some of the background. There's a Jaguar right, and now it's kind of becoming. Um, there's a lot of exposing who's a witch and rituals, and there's new cases coming out with children ages of today it was 10 and I believe 17 maybe. So now we're starting to get into because the original filing and charges had taken out all the the children aspects of it from the
Right, so
original.
so their names will not be showing up probably.
Well, but it took out some of the big like executive players and from the original indictments and names. They all now there was none of that names or
Okay.
anything, and now all of a sudden now kids are starting to file. So now kids are coming into this. So um, and there's I guess, a huge tape that's been floating around for a while. There was an attorney that was on a few different shows, and um, so what is really going to happen, I suppose, will be seen at the trial. So as far as updates, and really the only one that I'm still wanting to follow is Allie Carter, and she's a survivor, and she's not looking for 15 minutes, and it's not about money. It's truly about solutions around the issues of trafficking. And um, I I have nothing but support, and I am following that. But the rest of it, yeah, I think it's just kind of week to week the same old thing until the trial in May.
I
Doesn't
saw
seem to
that
be.
I saw that J-Lo recently came out and publicly made her stance for Kamala known, which is just like another
Oh,
Democratic
she
Party
did.
operative. Yeah, I mean, she used to date Diddy, like all that
Yeah.
shit. So it was like a just a meme of a picture I saw of like her and Diddy like arm in arm, and then it was like her like coming out for Kamala or whatever, and it's just like, oh wow, what a surprise, and it's just so funny because all these people like the thing I don't get too about people who will even like think anything of a celebrity endorsement is I'm just like, these you have more in common with the common Trump supporter than you do any celebrity. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason why these people come out and they don't care about the economy. You never hear them talk about inflation. You never hear them talk about groceries. You never hear them talk about being able to buy a house. You never hear them even talk about like immigrant problems and stuff because they're not in their neighborhoods. They're the ones in ivory towers with big fucking gates, big walls guarding their house. Oh, what do walls do? Why do you guys need a wall? Why don't you just tear down your wall, celebrities? Oh, it doesn't actually protect you from anything. You know what I mean? It's like it's just ridiculous when it
Yeah.
gets down to it because it's just such a joke. And I'm like, if you even give a shit that Usher or J Lo or P
Yeah.
did whoever, it's just like why? Why
And they
they don't
said in
represent
Beyonce, they
you?
duped them. She spoke for 6 minutes. She didn't even perform. And, and it's like, uh, how can you not like see the dots to connect that they're all on this Diddy list and they're
And
all
I guess like
blackmailed?
they didn't straight up say that Beyonce was going to be performing, but it was kind of the way that it was worded. It was like
Oh,
almost
okay.
like it insinuated it though. You know what I mean? Like it like but like it didn't necessarily say Beyonce's performance is at 8 p.m. It's just like Beyonce like
Oh,
featuring or whatever, but like people just automatically assumed because there's been other like events where celebrities are performing. So I think people
I
just
watched
assumed that.
Alex Stein, his clip on it, and so of course I should
Nice.
know better than to think Alex Stein is going to give anything that, like, of course he's gonna spin it that way. So, but I still enjoy some of Alex Stein very much. I started watching him before he was when he was right on the cusp of becoming more of a known name,
You're like more
and
of a sensation. I
yeah,
really caught on. I think it was like during COVID stuff when he was doing a lot of those like town halls and a lot of that stuff was like going around online.
yeah,
And I was following his, what is it? There's a Instagram like conspiracy castles or something like
yeah.
that.
That was
And
his show, his background with the fire and all of his cats, and you could just catch him live on YouTube or I guess on Instagram. Same thing.
and then I saw
Um,
him on Alex Jones once, like an interview, and I was like, oh shit, he made the big time. I was like, damn, okay. Like, then he's like, now he has like a show on the Blaze or whatever. Like, I mean, good for him, but he is hilarious.
yeah, yeah. I just catch his clips. I've tried to watch his show on YouTube.
It's a
I
little
think it
too,
just appeals. He's funny in doses, but to tune into his show every day, he didn't get me like that as a viewer. But definitely
same.
appreciate the glow up. Couldn't be happier for me. I love to see shit like that. Somebody that's just authentically being themselves and catches a good gig. That's fucking awesome.
I'm the same way. I don't think I could sit down and watch. I don't even know how long his show is, an hour, 45 minutes. I have no idea. I couldn't sit down and watch that, but I can tolerate, yeah, like the little funnier like reels on
Mhm.
Instagram that come out like a
Mhm.
more timed, like I can do those, it's just
Some of his shit when he goes in front of, he just did one on Diddy that was, I caught a glimpse of it. And I'm like, I'm glad he's still doing the stuff that he did and how, like his grassroots stuff and how he got discovered. I do appreciate that he still goes back to that. And he actually did a live on YouTube with just his own channel the other night. I caught a notification. So I like
Okay.
that. I like
Yeah, yeah,
that.
I like that too because it's almost like he doesn't think he's like too good for that
Yeah.
anymore. It's like he's just gonna keep the bit
He's
going.
just yep. So I like that.
I like that too.
Um,
He does seem a little humble, which I also like.
mhm,
But yeah, I could. It's a small doses thing for me. Like, there's a few people whose show I can watch. I can watch Mersh. Sometimes I can
mhm,
tune into Daywave. There were times when like I used to watch Alex Jones. I just don't anymore. I also don't really have time in the
mhm,
day and stuff. But like even he's better in small doses. But
mhm.
yeah, glad
Yeah,
for the homies. But I don't know. I
yeah.
saw just like more people are coming out that are connected to Diddy, and it just like it's
Mhm,
very reminiscent of the Epstein Island situation. It's
mhm,
like that these are Democratic operatives. Well, they're actually just operatives of the state. They're basically like portions of the CIA that captured Hollywood, and they use them for
mhm,
propaganda. They use them for swaying public opinion. That's how this. A lot of people don't realize. I think the function of Hollywood in the government and more importantly like the role in
mhm,
shaping society,
mhm,
and these are weapons, these are weapons, these shows, everything you can watch, the way sitcoms, the way they have pushed certain things, like the men in sitcoms are always stupid and dopey and
mhm,
lazy and
mhm.
misogynistic, and it's like that's the portrayal of men that they want, and that's kind of what they got,
And they're
and
also
even
really preying on the devil archetype. So very the religious side of things, the witch. There all these archetypes are dancing around right now, which I go back to why knowing the seven hermetic principles and understanding. I mean, that's why True North I'm so passionate about it, is everything is mental. And if you
yeah,
can fly both sides and navigate that very mercurially with make mercury that the power of language, and being mercurial and recognizing trickster energy. And but when you understand that these are all rituals and symbols and signs, and that that's how your subconscious speaks, and they know this, that's how they're going for mind control. It doesn't take a secret military base anymore. And there was someone that I follow on Instagram. She's had a glow up too. She has an organic channel, blonde haired, organic chaos, I think is her channel's name. And she said
okay,
something about So who's talking conspiracy? She did a cute little video on like wanting to talk about stuff you're not supposed to talk about. And
Love that.
are you gonna stay out? Because I'm gonna shut the door. I don't want to talk about it. Come on, in or out? No, okay.
Is always
Um,
arguing with our dogs.
yeah. Um, so I had put something underneath that said, um, well, I just hope that now maybe people actually will talk about it and do something rather than sit behind their keyboard and then she said like her response was like 100%. I'm scared, and then I was like, well, you should be, not to scare you, but like, good. Like this is, but then it was like I wanted to expand on so much, and then I just like, okay, that's like I can't write this much. So in a short amount of time, it probably looked like I was fucking nuts. But the witch wound, and it goes deep, and it's hijacking of Mother Nature, and I tried to condense a lot in there, and but I was happy that people are finally more people are talking about it in a way that I hope is solution oriented and healing. I will always stay open for a miracle when it comes to this energy, this and these rituals and these spells that are hijacking the sacral chakra of this planet.
And isn't it funny though that these same themes, the witchcraft, the religious, the devil worshiping, like these are themes that have been played over and over. Like think about the Salem witch trials with the pilgrims.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like these are
Yep.
themes that have been
Slavery,
continuing. Yes, it's like and also division and to make you scared of
war.
everybody and war and make you think that you're better than the person that believes this. And it's also just like there is a primitive level of some sort of archetype that they're tapping into that most
Mm-hmm.
people aren't aware of. Most people aren't
Mm-hmm.
aware of archetypes. They don't know what the archetype of the
Yep.
devil is, the virgin,
Yep.
the hanged man, the
Mm-hmm.
hermit, the
The
fool.
sacred prostitute, the king, the queen, the mother, the father. And I mean, I suppose that's where, for me, it connects the astrological wheel and the human design. Like I love systems. We all have a star system within us. And when we claim our sovereignty over our own star system, I think
The
that's why,
crone. Sorry, that was the other one I
yeah,
was
I,
thinking.
I've heard like everybody wants to be a star. Yes, I do think everybody. I think that's the natural progression. There's something about becoming a star and the afterlife and this cosmic consciousness that it appeals. It makes it's dot connecting for me, and I love it. And yeah, I'd love to have True North universalized and the truth come out about these systems and tools and why they're around the way that they are and how you know um, but again when it's like this fine line because women that are doing whatever they want to do, that's certainly not where my issue lies. It lies with the coercion, the force and fraud, and a huge amount of women that end up in this kind of web um, are born into it epigenetically. I mean, there's something that's happening with these archetypes that I mean, there's no coincidence like why a Kardashian family would kind of come along and they have mixed race kids and they have, like and it's so easy to, and their mom did prostitute Kim. Like, she did pimp her kids. And I, that's still being born or sold or coerced into it, even though, yeah, sure, there's one of her that makes the billionaire. And are they really billionaires? I doubt it. As I understand it, there's, anyway, I don't give a fuck if they're
I
broken
mean,
up.
yeah, I don't know either. It's like also like liquid assets, definitely not, but I'm sure, yeah,
Yeah.
they
I
are
mean,
set for the rest of their damn life, like, but at what cost? Sure, I mean, not monetary, but at what cost to their soul, and it's just like, I mean,
well,
it's
and
also again like there's these families, this it is also part of bread and circuses. Like I think people don't understand is like they think that things are put out for one reason, but it's not. Almost everything that happens that is being used against us is multifaceted in
Yeah.
multiple ways. It's not just one agenda. These things are
Hmm.
multifaceted and they cover multiple agendas. It's
Yeah.
distraction. It's also subversion of beauty, you know, like since the
But
Kardashians
it's
have
also,
hit
it's
the market.
hijacking the sacral sexual energy. That is how, and if you get to the kids, if you get them young and you break them, you're mind controllable. So it's this hijacking of the sexual energy and how, um,
Yes, and also
even how,
it's even like the medical thing though, like the pharmaceutical meds, like the fillers, the plastic surgery, the not feeling good enough, the getting you to like pick every part of your face, you know, like, oh, the facial symmetry, and oh, my cheekbones need to be higher, my nose needs to do this a little bit, and my lips need to do a little bit
I
more like
just,
this, and my chin, and it's just like, but that again, that's not only does it feed all of the medical tyranny, it also feeds distraction, it feeds self-destruction, because like if you hate yourself and you're so busy on your looks and
the
narcissism and
body
stuff like that, like
dysmorphia.
it's just, yeah, and body dysmorphia. It does all kinds of things
Mhm.
psychological to you. It also wastes your money. It keeps you broke. It keeps you fighting for these things and like reaching for these things that don't really even fucking matter at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like it's this never ending
Well,
self-fulfilling
I
loop.
mean,
It's like
yeah, I
they've
mean, it's
hijacked
just,
women. And
it's
why is it? It mainly applies to women. Sure, there are some men who might get some Botox, but like that is not the
more and
norm.
more.
Well, yeah, because they see what would it be doing for women, and also these men, y'all need to do something about them forehead wrinkles,
Well,
okay?
here's
Just like
the
put a
thing,
little serum on.
to have the choice to want to feel better about the way you look. Like I'm not a, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, again, the critical thinking, and there's a difference between wanting to feel better and doing it because it truly does raise your self-esteem and you do feel better, or going into body dysmorphia and having unrealistic expectations and living outside yourself, then that's, yeah, I think that's, we're seeing that happening to our culture in so many ways. Everything is
Yeah,
outside. Everything is, and I suppose that's why when we talk about astrology and when I talk about the subconscious, I just know, I mean, that's just where the answers are for betterment lie with anybody,
yeah,
with the individual. And but when you look outside yourself for your archetypes, like the king, queen, England, your presidents, your saviors, your Jesuses, the devil's out there. No, the devil's inside you. I hate to break it to you, but that devil is inside you. And anybody, I learned this in acting school. Anybody is capable of doing anything under the right circumstances. And so when you can, I suppose that's what I loved about going to acting school and playing characters is that you did take on their backstory, their circumstances, how they could have ended up in that storyline, and that's a very powerful,
yeah. Isn't
because
it
you're,
like you have to find that character arc inside of yourself, even if like you don't
mhm,
think of yourself as a villain, but like you know, like you said, like we're all capable of that. But
mhm,
also, it's that thing like you know, there's a transformation sometimes. Like there's always that whole like, are villains born or are they made? You know, it's
mhm,
like, is it
mhm,
like it's, and I totally
mhm,
get that. But also, I just know that from real life, from history, you know, and my mom actually used to tell me that, and not so many words when I was a kid, that you know you are capable of almost anything. You don't think so, but she would tell
mhm,
me like I would never think of myself capable as murder or killing someone.
mhm,
She's like, but if somebody like hurt you or your brother or my mother, she's like, that like I don't know, like I might be
mhm,
capable of like taking
mhm.
someone's life if they hurt my children, you know, and like you don't know until you're in that situation, you know,
Yeah,
and it's easy to think of yourself as I could never take a life or whatever, but shit, if it was me or them and I'm fighting for my life and I got a weapon, I'm sorry, it's you know what I mean? Like I
for
already know
sure.
that about myself. Like I'm a fighter. Like I don't, if it's me or
Yeah,
you, it's you. Like sorry,
yeah,
like
for
or I'm gonna
sure.
die trying. You know, it's just one of those things. But I also have recognized the villain in myself, just analyzing certain situations, friendships, relationships that have devolved, things that I've done wrong to harm people, like knowing that I caused that pain and harm to somebody, you know, and it's like it's the people that deny, that those are the people that never grow, when you can never say like, hey, I did do this wrong and I know that I did hurt you. And ultimately me recognizing that in myself did help me grow, because it made me realize
Sure.
like, I don't want to do that. I don't ever want to make anybody hurt that way again, to ways
Hmm.
that I've like harmed people in my early 20s or whatever, being
Yeah.
selfish. Like, I don't
Hmm.
want to be that person. And me being able to admit that to myself, that like, no, I
Sure.
did this. I was the villain here, that made it so that I don't repeat that, but if I was one of those
Hmm.
people that's just in denial, like, no, I could do no wrong, everything was them and blah blah blah, you're right, I would probably go on repeating the pattern, always pointing with those
Hmm.
three fingers, pointing back at myself, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And it's like that's like the definition of crazy. And I know people who are like that. I know people, I'm not friends with them, but I
Sure.
know people who do the same thing over and
Yeah.
over, and they don't see that they're the common denominator, the common thread in all of these transactions and interactions and relationships and friendships that don't work. It's like, maybe it's you. Have you ever stopped to think about that? Like, maybe it's not everyone else. Like, maybe there's something you're doing wrong that you need to alter, like,
Hmm.
and that's how
Self-reflection, being able to
self-reflection.
go inside. Yeah.
And isn't that
I think,
painful? Self-reflection sucks.
yeah, I think I can say that when I went to acting school, I mean, I've said it before very early on when we started doing this show, that I went to acting school to stop acting, in the sense that it was 2 years of Meisner intensive, and it was incredible therapy. And I was very much a shattered personality, but giving myself permission to fly in my extremes through acting and working through the DSM and just exploring really psychology, and then the occult, and then Hollywood. Magic wands are made out of Hollywood, and so the occult is very much about acting. It's building a magical persona, and it's its own unique. I'm fascinated by it, um, because I think that it would, if people studied it, they wouldn't be falling prey to this. And I know more and more people are waking up, because I've said it for years since Q came out, that, oh, they're doing a mass occulting. You don't have to be invited to the mystery schools anymore. They're going to do it for you. And if you don't have the mental, if you can't figure out that everything's mental, and you can't figure the seven hermetic principles, you don't dive into those and figure out what natural law is and where you stand in that whole storyline, this one's going to get real convoluted, real convoluted.
Yeah, real choppy water. There's that saying,
Hmm.
like, the same waters that the schizophrenic traverses, so also does the mystic. But whereas the
Yeah,
schizophrenic is drowning, the mystic is floating.
yeah,
Like, that's kind of like the same. It's the
yeah.
same
That's it.
principle. Like,
That's beautiful. That's I love. Yes, absolutely,
so it's like,
absolutely.
these people who aren't aware, they're being thrown in the water without ever being taught to swim. You know what I mean? It's very shocking for them, and it is kind
Hmm.
of sink or swim. And it's like,
Hmm.
I was lucky enough to be introduced to it kind of on my own, just my own intrigue, my own deep diving, going down rabbit
Hmm.
holes, and slowly discovering kind of the mystery school stuff, certain teachers, certain speakers, and I'm glad that I got that introduction, because now everything that's going on, I pretty much recognize it all, and it's
Yeah,
not like, nothing is
yeah,
shocking to me. More than anything, I feel like I'm kind of like,
yeah,
if something does come out of left field, I'm better equipped to take
yeah,
it in.
yeah. For sure, absolutely, without a doubt, without a doubt. It is. And here we are getting closer. We are, well, 8 days away from the election. And
Whew.
I remember back to
Hey, buddy.
2016 when Trump got in, and then what happened?
Oh no, Volt is just
Oh,
he's being cute. I don't know. I'm trying
hi,
to tell him to get on the
Walt.
bed.
Hi,
He's
Walt.
just looking at me all uncomfortable on the wood floor. I'm like, get on the bed. What are you doing?
And then this last one when Joe Biden won. So these are the last two that are kind of coming in clear. And now this one. It's like, okay, Trump. Biden, and now Trump back up here. Yep, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. Did
Yeah,
you,
if that's not a cycle or a pattern, I don't know what is, you know.
right? Did you watch the Madison Square Garden? Any of it?
I think I saw a few clips. I know that one, there's like that's like the other controversial thing right now. That one comedian made that joke about like Puerto Ricans or something. I don't really know. I also am just like, people are that up in arms about it. Like, first of all, it's a damn joke, yo. Like, come
I missed that.
on.
I
Like,
missed that
don't
part.
we have
Somebody
bigger,
made a Puerto Rican joke.
what was that comedian? Oh, it was Kill Tony. That's right, because I heard, I think, like Mersh and Royce talking shit.
Oh, okay. I when I turned into Dave Smith tonight, he was just ending his conversation on that. So okay.
Okay, so I guess I don't know what his real name is. I just know Kill Tony, that show, right? So I guess he made a
Mm-hmm.
joke about Puerto Ricans. I don't know, or like a Puerto Rico or something, and said, I don't know, like it's like basically a trash island or something like that in the Pacific, because it's like the Great Pacific garbage patch or whatever. I don't know, some sort of stupid joke, but all these people now are like, see, it was a Nazi rally. And it's like, oh God. But second of all, like, come on, man. You
Uh,
couldn't have saved this spicy joke for like, I don't know, not
I
right
think,
now.
but I think he is Puerto Rican.
I have no idea. I have no idea. It
Anyway,
might have been a self-depreciating joke, but even under today's woke standards, you're not even like, a black person can't even make a black joke. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's that way. Like, it's gone
yeah.
so far that like literally there's no jokes allowed.
There's
Like,
no joy in jokes. No joy.
no.
No jokes.
Who was it? It's not called, so like usually you get laughter. Like that's what comedians are after, but I don't know if you've ever seen like one of these woke comedians and they're out there and they don't get laughter. Everybody, instead of laughing, they clap. I don't remember who said it, but somebody said, yeah, they don't get laughter, they get clapter is what they call it. Because like now it's just like if you make any sort of point or any sort of like ideological zing, they're just like, oh, but nobody's actually like, ha ha ha, you know what I mean? Because it's not funny. They're not even being funny. They're just like,
God,
I don't know,
it's
it's
so
almost like a TED talk or
weird.
some shit. It is really weird, but you're
It's,
definitely not allowed to make jokes anymore. So we know that.
it's like just parts of humanity are just it's just like they're just drifting away. Like they're not like their humanness is I it's so weird. The
It is
world.
weird because it's also authoritarian. I mean, this is what
Hmm.
all these people who scream that Trump is authoritarian, they have fallen into the classic blunder of,
Hmm.
you know, beware when fighting monsters that you yourself do not become a monster, because that's what they are becoming.
Hmm.
They are becoming the
They
authoritarians.
are.
All they do is scream that Trump is an authoritarian.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, they try to control language, control speech, control people's opinions, control people's language. You have to call me this,
Control
not that.
laughter.
Control laughter, control jokes. Like it's all about control for them.
Mhm.
And like that is by definition authoritarian, when you are trying to literally control entire narratives, what
Mhm.
people think, the language they can use,
Mhm.
not only that, but what they think in their own head. So like if you see some dude who's dressed as a woman and it's not even a real trans person, it's not even somebody attempting to be the opposite sex, it's literally just like one of those dudes with a beard in a girl's bathroom now, but like you have to
Being a
call them
fucking
that.
weirdo.
Yeah, but you are forced to call them what they want to be called. So like now they're like literally trying to control how you see the world, and it's like, hello, that it's fucking like, you don't have control over other people's perceptions. I know that. Even hell, even Christians who are like some of the biggest stick in the muds, even they fucking know that. So they don't think like, they're not forcing you to believe that Jesus is Lord. You know what I'm saying? But like they are forcing you to say that a man can be a woman. And that's like that's popular. That's like you can get fired now. That's like in corporations. These are like literal like rules, and we're changing societal
Yeah.
structures. And it's like that's the thing, is like hell, even Christians aren't as delusional as to think that they can control if people believe in God or not. You know what I mean? They're like, I'll pray for you, but they're not saying you have to believe what I believe, or I'm telling your boss and then you're satanic and you hate me because I like, even they're not doing that. You know, it's only coming
Not
from one
yet.
side. Not yet. I mean, probably given the
I
chance
have
in
to,
this place,
yeah, I
they
mean,
but Christians have been kept in check. Think about like the satanic panic. Like that's why the pendulum was so far right that once again now the pendulum has
I
swung
think they're being
well,
preyed
well,
on.
well.
I
You
think
know,
they're
it's
being
like
preyed on through their religions for war and for in fear and for like, yeah. And that, but that just goes to show you how just humans in general are so easily programmable, and they tend to be in cults and don't even know it. And then they'll watch all the movies about cults, but they won't recognize that they're in a fucking cult.
no, because that's actually called cognitive dissonance.
Yep.
It's a literal psychological term. It means you could show them the proof, you could show them literal documentation, you could show them like, hey, this is a definition of a cult, you have done this, you have met all the requirements, and they'll still be like, no, you're wrong, you're lying, like you are wrong. And it's like, you once somebody has reached that level, that's what like all we could want to wake people up. All we can do is plant seeds, because you
Yeah.
don't ever know what is going to wake somebody up. You know, like
Yeah.
a lot of these people in cults do wake up because now their kids are starving, or like, you know, there's like
Well,
been some
government
weird
is the
cult leaders.
definition of a narcissist and a cult, and it gaslights its empathic lovers.
Yeah, and it functions like a cult. It
Yeah,
functions like
for
that. You know
sure,
what I mean? Like
for
that's the
sure.
thing is these. I mean, government unchecked especially, but even our own government, you know, you look at the way that they're getting power, and like even AOC, which I can't stand her, but
Mhm.
she was saying this quote to Jill Stein, like they were having a little go back and forth, and she's talking about, no, you just don't understand how to capture power and then like wield it, and or like something weird like that. And it's like she's literally telling us what she wants, and then now Tim Walz is saying he's going to make AOC the
Speaker of
Speaker
the
of the
House.
House. Like,
I
but
saw that.
does that not tell you that she is concentrating power for herself? Because that's what these people care about. They say it's, oh no, I'm getting the power to harness it for you, but it's not. She wants the power for herself.
Herself.
You know, like it's not.
Yeah.
They
And
they
how
they they
can
tell on themselves. They
mm,
can't help it.
I just it just I just can't be. I just can't. Of course, I just can't imagine being that kind of person. And
I don't want the power.
no, I threw the ring back. There's no way that I would want that kind of.
Yes,
Mm-mm.
Lord of the Rings reference. I love
Yeah, for sure. Yes. Yeah. No, I want to be a dream maker, not a dream taker. I want to inspire people to follow their true north and live their highest, most beautiful, authentic life and freedom and sovereignty and mutually beneficial exchange of energy.
And but
And
people who do wield power, even like Ron Paul, you know, like we've talked about it, how he said he would begrudgingly be the president, not because he even wanted to. He didn't even want the
mhm,
job. He just felt like
mhm,
there was nobody else, and he didn't even
yeah,
want this. You know what I mean? He's like, y'all are like, there's just nobody else that can do it. I want somebody who takes the power begrudgingly, even, you
yeah,
know, like who
yeah,
doesn't who wants it in check, who wants to make it smaller,
yeah,
who does
yeah.
not dream about increasing their power, increasing their grasp, increasing their role. Like I want people who want a minimal role, who take it seriously, who it's burdensome for them,
You know,
you
I
know,
will
like
say this, that with the sound of, there were certain parts of his interview, and just knowing that he has brought in RFK and Shannon Ma- Mahan,
oh yeah, Monahan, or what's her
thank
name?
you, Monahan.
Yeah.
And there is and even with Tulsi Gabbard, with all these people, there is, and Dave, this is what was confirming what Dave Smith was saying today, that there is a libertarian through line throughout the Trump kind of camp and people. And if that goes in the White House and they actually are able to really get in there and you know, even if it's just certain little who knows, but there is a libertarian flavor that I can see and feel, and even more so after Trump got shot. He there is a difference in his energy, in the personal interviews anyway, and then there's stuff that's exactly the fucking same. Um,
Oh, come here.
but I just
Come here.
I got the sense that there's something about facing your mortality. Uh-oh, what happened?
Oh, am I still on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I think that you're right. There's also just like I hope anyways, I can hope that Trump learned his lesson, like, because there was a haven't listened to the whole, like, Joe Rogan, Trump thing. I think I've listened to a large portion of it, like, I would stop it and start it kind of throughout yesterday, and even today, I listened to a little bit of it, and there was a part where Joe was like said something about neocons or like, did you make some mistakes? And Trump was like, yeah, absolutely, I made mistakes. He's like, especially regarding the people that I trusted and picked because I thought that just their not their expertise so much, but just because they had experience in these roles in government. So he just thought that they would be good people. And that was his idea. You know, he's like, in business, you know, when you hire somebody, he's like, sure, you can take a chance on somebody new. He's like, but a lot of times, you know, it's these CEOs or people have like worked their way up or they were like an executive and then this, you know, he's like, you just kind of trust people who are already in the job. And he's like, and I made that mistake. And Joe Rogan said something about neocons, and he's like, yeah, he's like, neocons, he's like, they actually turned out to be the worst people, you know? And it's like, I'm glad that he's saying stuff like that, you know, like it is like a signal. I don't know. I'm sure it doesn't make the neocons and people in the deep state, like the Bushes, the Cheneys, the McCains, it doesn't make them feel good. You know, they know that they're on the outs, I think, and that's why
Yeah.
they are going
And
with
I
the
don't think he
Democrats.
stopped making deals from the moment he got up in the morning till the time he's gone to bed since the time that he got out of the White House. Like he's
No, he was actually a president, but that's what they don't want. They don't the deep state, the powers that be, the people who control the fucking intelligence agencies, the Nancy Pelosi's, the Chuck Schumers, the Bushes, like they don't want somebody who's going to run the country. They want to run the country with each other. You know, like they always say you're only as good as like who you like it's not the president, but like he is an individualist. I like that. I want an
Mhm.
individual. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
don't
for
want
sure.
somebody who's being run by a group and
Yeah.
greater forces who represents the party more than they
Mm.
represent the American people.
And
You
I
know,
do
like
believe that he wants to, like, he doesn't want war. I do. Now he's strong military, and that's all very true. And these wars never seem to stop. That's all very true. We don't even declare them anymore. They're all proxy wars. There's a lot going on. But I do get the feeling that he does love to negotiate a good fucking deal. And hey, negotiate away. I'm all for having a beautiful new approach to how business is done
and it's also the way that
everywhere.
actually like these countries, these foreign leaders, they really are scared of him though. Like they're not scared of the Democratic Party, they're not scared of the deep state, they don't care about the party. But Trump is somebody that they don't know. They know he's a wild card. They know that low key he's not really beholden to any of these deals that are going on behind the scenes with Netanyahu and then Ukraine and these money laundering schemes. Like they know that he's not part of that. So like they have no blackmail on him. They could say that. They keep trotting out these women saying he sexually harassed me in a dressing room. Like get a fucking grip. No, he didn't. He doesn't even have to. I'm sorry, but he doesn't. And now 1 week before the election, some lady's gonna come out. Did you see that? Like who said she
Yeah.
was like dating Epstein or something, and Epstein
Mhm.
took her over there. And it's like, okay, first of all, you dated Epstein, like, and you want me to feel sorry for you? Like, nah, sorry, like, I already don't trust you. You know what I mean? Like, and you're gonna tell
Yeah.
me that while you were dating Epstein, the worst thing that happened is he trotted you over to Donald Trump's house. Like, no, I'm sorry. These are just like made up. You can tell they're just grasping at
But
straws. They're just
that's my whole point of even prostitution rings and the even the Miss America, these pageants, Hot Topic or Hawaiian Tropic. Like, and
you almost
as
said hot
adults,
topic.
yeah, but as adults, this is where where I'm saying the coercion, the force, and the fraud, or women that exploit themselves. That's why I'm saying that the Diddy case is becoming such a just a fucking show. And then like subjects like this, like it's these women are. I have no respect for. I mean, it's obvious it's bullshit. It's obvious it's right. And then I think when one of her interviews, she said it's just a coincidence that it's right before the the election. Okay, now I don't
I'm
believe
so
you.
sure.
Fuck
Yeah,
you.
what a
You could have said
coinkydink.
hey, yeah, I'm using this fucking opportunity to come out because this motherfucker did this. Like then I'd have some, I might listen.
Yeah, or how about back at the last two elections? Like, why now? Why 1 week before the
Yeah,
election? Why not when
like
other people have supposedly come forward? Why not when all the Jeffrey Epstein shit was coming forward? Did you not come forward? Like, you had plenty of opportunities. And now, like, it's just, yeah, I'm sorry, like, the timing is a little too auspicious, babe. Like, maybe you should have come out, oh, I don't know, 4 years ago when Jeffrey Epstein, like, hung himself in jail. You know what I mean? Like, maybe
yeah,
that was the time. Like,
yeah. And so it's just,
it's,
you see people's character.
and it's like, how much money did you get paid for this? You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a paper trail somewhere.
Yeah. And how people used, whether exploiting your story, exploiting, and then
Yeah, just even for coverage, because
but then
now she's
it
on.
takes away from people that really are surviving and really did go through it. It's just like the words racist and homophobe and all these words that now have lost their meaning, narcissist, empath, all of it, because it loses its value because it's so misused and
Watered
overused.
down. Yeah,
Yeah.
now, yeah, you're right. Now anybody who doesn't believe what you believe is a racist. Like, come on, like that's not the definition of that. Like, also, it's been so misused that like it's commonplace now. Like, it's now
Mhm.
everybody is. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
anybody who
Yeah.
has a backward thought, or anybody who has questions about like transing kids is homophobic. I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
definitely not homophobic. And also, being gay is sexual orientation is definitely different than being trans. Like, it's not the same
Mhm.
thing. Sexual orientation and then like feeling like you don't belong in your body, that's not the same issue at
Body
all.
dysmorphia. It's a mental illness, except for the small percentages where it's not. Yeah, and these things are just like, duh, but but that's
Oh,
the
but they'll
power
get on.
of
No, because they heard somebody else say this, a professor, and they have more authority than me or you to speak on such subjects. And I think I sent it to you earlier, like about morality. Like, if there's a rule that I don't align with, I'll break it. You know what I mean? Because like I'm in charge of my own morality, and I also I'm in charge. I'm my own authority. I run ideas through myself. I don't listen to experts. Like, sure, if I had to learn about things, that's different. I learned about anatomy. Like, I definitely listened to my teacher talking about that, but anatomy is also, it is a defined, laid out route. It is based off of a physical thing, bones and muscle and sinew and tissues and organs. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't some idea that's like you can't see. Like, even religion to that extent is something that you can't see, you have faith in. The same with transgenderism, that's something you can't see, you have faith in. And it's like, I'm sorry, I do think there are some people with body dysmorphia, and I do not think that everybody who is trans is like some pervert that wants to harm women and kids. But I do think that perverts who want to harm women and kids can definitely use it as a wolf in sheep's clothing, and I have fucking problems with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry if me um I'm not going to volunteer women and kids to be exposed to possible harm because a man doesn't feel like he's in his body. Like, I do think that's sad, and I'm sorry. And, but I still don't think it's okay for women to be placed in harm from men who have autogynephilia. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not the same
and the
thing, and it's not
sports.
fair.
The sport, it's just to me, it's I
And it's also female erasure. Like, they're
yeah, for
literally like
sure.
altering medical terms. You can't say breastfeeding now, it's chest feeding. It's just like these
What?
are these are words that define the female body, and you're literally saying like females don't exist just simply because there's men that feel like women sometimes. So just because there's some men that feel like they're born in the wrong body, now all of a sudden females don't even fucking exist, and I can't use words to describe my own body, my own anatomy, my own experience on this earth, because we are physical beings. I'm sorry, I do believe we're spiritual and physical beings, but like, what? Like, physicality is rooted in
Where are
reality. It's
you
rooted in,
required to say that? Like if I like just anywhere, like breastfeeding, they just don't want that said?
yeah, like a lot of these like gynecology offices, hospitals, they have just automatically now adopted these terms. They've adopted the use of these terms. So it's like it's even changing in the medical field. So I'm like, you mean to tell me that like female
So
anatomy
like
is
on the
literally
form, are
being,
you chest feeding? No,
Yeah,
we're
or
live.
would you
Keep
like to
going.
take chest feeding classes?
Would
You know
you
what I
like?
mean? Like,
Are you gonna chest feed? No, Pete Pablo 99. We're live. And I see that you said even the word nigga, and I'm black, but I don't know what that exactly what that was in reference to. But
I
I'm
didn't say
sure
that word.
I'm sure that you uh, he's it's with an A, nigga, and I'm
Ugh.
black. So I'm not sure what it's in reference to. But
Oh, we
I
can't
think
even read a comment. We're canceled because you read a comment.
right. I think it's because of when we were talking about homophobe and the power of like how words. I'm sure it's fitting somewhere in that the context of that part of the
Oh, or
conversation.
like when I said how like if you're black, you can't even make a joke about like black people now, and like vice versa for every other like culture. Like
Oh, okay.
maybe
Yeah.
it was in reference to
Yeah. Okay. That's
that.
probably it. Yeah.
I saw my
Yeah.
friend posted this really cute video of these Japanese bluegrass like folk band, and like they're really good, and like this one girl was just damn, she was picking the banjo, and they're like based out of Japan, and like the comments were great, but some of the comments were hilarious. Like um somebody's like, I would call you guys the Saki Bottom Boys. Like just think it said the Soggy Bottom Boys. Like, and then it was funny because it was like somebody said something about cultural appropriation. It's like, no, like culture, especially music, is meant to be shared. And then all these people in the comments were like, you would be hard pressed to find a single person in Appalachia that wouldn't get down to their bluegrass music. You know what I mean? And actually feel like happy that like their culture has spread so far that it's like affecting people from completely entirely different cultures, you know, languages, religions. And it's like it takes a certain kind of stupid, I think, to be offended over like cultural appropriation stuff when
Mhm,
really it's like we've all just borrowed and recycled our culture since
mhm,
the dawn of fucking time, you know.
mhm.
And it's like, and not only that, there are things that are cross culture, like how you find um the swastika in Native American art and
Mhm.
jewelry, and you'll find it in Buddhist art and jewelry, because
Yeah.
really, and y'all can look this up, you don't believe me, the swastika is a pinwheel in the sky that forms by the Polaris, the North Star, and the Big Dipper, which used to be called Ursula Major. At each equinox and seasonal rotation, it forms a pinwheel in the sky that looks exactly like a swastika. And that the ancient peoples of every culture did star lore. They used the stars for traveling, for navigation,
Mhm,
for their religious stories. So that's why every culture on earth saw this and wrote it down and drew it as
mhm,
a map to the seasons, as a map to Polaris, which is the North Star, which is categorically the star that we have always used to navigate the seas and land. You know, so it's like
mhm,
that we've all just shared these stories and these since
mhm.
forever. You know, it's like there's
And
no
these archetypes
these
that,
archetypes.
that
Yes.
you know, and that's yeah, and how hijacking a symbol and you know can now be what it is, and uh, that's the power of energetics. And that's the power of when these energetics are turned against you as a weapon. And if you don't know what the fuck your subconscious, the language is talking, you're programmed and you're susceptible to however you're at the whim of this program. At least when you knowledge is power and you start to understand these occult histories and the power of these archetypical stories that live within all of us. And when you can bring that subconscious and that epigenetic trauma forward and do that healing work, you take your power back. And it's a pretty beautiful thing, not easy thing to walk through, but boy, is it worth it.
It's a little scary at first, especially, which is
Yeah.
why I get why people don't want to do it, you know, but
Yeah.
it's
And
also like,
and I go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean
I
to
was gonna
interrupt
say
you.
it's freeing though in the end. It's
Yeah.
empowering and it's freeing, and these people have no control over you anymore, and their little symbols have no control over you, and their fear tactics have no control over you.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? You literally just become an autonomous
Sovereign.
um a sovereign being, you know, and they don't want that, you know, like that's why I do encourage everybody to go down a little rabbit hole every once in a while and learn where these symbols come from and how they've been used over and over. And cross culture and cross country, and it's all there for you. It's all there for you if you want to, but
Yeah, and when you go back and we all connect to it, then this war and this divide and conquer, and you recognize we've all been slaves, we've all conquered, we've all like and if you believe in past lives, and I remember one time on my page I was saying something because I like Thomas Sowell, who's a black guy, and I was talking about my opinions on BLM, and that's pretty much bullshit and how I felt about it. And this woman came on and said, that's like something like, you cracker, I wouldn't have fucking given you, like, she just started going off on me, like, I wouldn't give you a sandwich, or I wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire, something like slave owner. I'm like, how do you know in a past life I wasn't black and you didn't like fucking hang me and you were whitey? Like, calm down. I'm not
also it's
a
like
fucking enemy.
if I don't automatically align though with whatever the current issue of the day is, whatever the little new social order is, that automatically makes me all these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you don't see the problem with that. Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna question everything, no matter what
yeah.
movement. I'm gonna be
And just because
questioning
I
it.
have a different philosophy, I'm aligned differently, all of a sudden now I'm cracker, like, fuck you, bitch. Oh, like, fuck you.
It's like, oh, but
No,
look how
because
quickly
I'm not a racist. I'm
y'all
not those
become
fucking
racist.
things.
You look at the one using the weird racial terms. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Look at the people that now have gone back on
The virtue
MLK.
signaling. It's just
But they've
disgusting.
also gone back, so like we have taken
Mhm.
steps back, like, so like how MLK used to say, like, you used to want to get to the point where like we didn't even like really look at people's skin, to where that wasn't a defining aspect of your
Mhm.
character,
Mhm.
because then that means like everybody is the same. But now they've seen that, and they realize like that doesn't get them what they want, so now their whole thing is equity, not equality, because equality means treating everybody the same across the board. Equity means, well, this person started here, so now you got to move there. It's just all this intervention, and you don't see that that's the hand. Like, you're playing fucking God, and you're playing the hand, and you're
Mhm.
trying to like move these pieces, and like how easily that could become authoritarian, totalitarian. How you can
Mhm.
become subjugated. How you can become ideologically subverted. Like demoralized just from that shit. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. I want less control. I don't want more control. I don't want the government and the powers that be to decide who is behind and who is in front, and who should deserve more and who should deserve less.
Mhm.
I don't want the government to have that power. I don't want it.
Mhm.
I want you to become a sovereign and like make your own fucking reality. That's what I want. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To work hard, to get ahead, like that there is a route to that. And anybody who says otherwise is lying, and they're fucking lazy. Like, ultimately that's the truth. Like, oh, that
Yeah.
rags to riches, the American dream is almost dead. Well, now it's almost dead. You're absolutely right, because y'all done beat it into the freaking ground. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. And there's something to be said for having a dream and putting everything you have into it and watching it um, come to fruition. I mean, I think about when I first moved here 13 years ago and I got Paladin, I was like, I'm going to do this horse medicine thing. And 13 years later, I am doing that. But it took, there wasn't a day where, I mean, I've thought about giving up, things get hard, but there wasn't a day, I have to feed morning and night. Like, it just, you can't just, well, giving up wasn't an option for me, but to not have something that, in which I would call, what is your true north, your divine mission. And I believe everybody has one. And to tap into that, I would love to see as many people could tap into their sovereignty and their divine mission, and what they're meant to do here, and the way that things are headed with, well, I mean, there's going to be a correction regardless of who wins. The correction is just going to look very different depending on,
who
uh,
wins?
yeah, yeah. And Tucker, actually, I saw a clip of it, and Dave Smith talked about it on his show. He said, we know that if you win, that it was not, that it was stolen. Like, we will not believe the results of this election. And so many, I'm paraphrasing. Of course, that's how they turned it into, he's not going to leave the office. And, they were flipping it all these different ways. But Dave Smith made a very good point. He's just saying, no, we're getting ahead of it. We're getting ahead of, like, just know that there's But do I think that Trump's going to be some savior and he's going to do it all better this time? No, I don't. I don't.
No, I do think it will. I do think it will
Better,
low key put up better economy. It might even like change some of just the public opinion,
yeah,
just because
yeah,
it's
but
like,
not saving anything, not coming in
no,
and
I don't think anyone's going to save anything. It's going to be up
no,
to us. But I do think he can set
yeah,
us on the path for us to save ourselves. You know what I
sure.
mean? So that maybe the economy, that the country does good, and you know what, and
Mhm.
we don't turn around and then elect a Democrat right
Yeah.
after Trump, like, because he can only get one term. This will be his second term. He knows that. So, but it's like,
Hmm.
hopefully the economy, and I do hope they get enough done in the 4 years if they win, to where like maybe another more free thinking, less establishment person would be elected again. Like, do you remember when Ross Perot would run and stuff like that? And like,
Hmm.
Donald Trump was kind of like the Ross Perot of our of of today. He's the Ross Perot of today, and it was like he was an independent businessman who funded his own shit, and it was like, but he actually won. And that's the thing, is I do want somebody who's not beholden to people. I want somebody who's not beholden to interest groups, who's not beholden to the establishment, who's not beholden to the neocons, who's not beholden to Ukraine and Israel. And I want someone who's beholden to America, who cares what the American people think about them. I want someone whose own life depends on like Americans doing good and progressing, which Trump kind of is. Like, he has all of these hotels here, and I'm sorry, but when Americans are doing bad, when the middle class is shot to hell, nobody can afford to go on vacations and stay at his properties. How does he profit from America doing bad? How?
Yeah.
He doesn't. He does, and nor has he even profited from being in office. Every single president in my lifetime, upon leaving office, has only gotten richer, has made more money and set themselves up. Trump is the only president in my lifetime, to my knowledge, that has actually lost money, and he has like put his own fortune on the line. You know what I mean? Like, that to me, that does mean something, because it means you're putting your money where your mouth is.
Sure.
So I don't think he's going to
Yeah.
save us. I do
I
think
I
it
was go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, I think it could put us on track for economic policies, and policies that will be good for the common man, and also not good for the liberal world order, the new world order, the UN, the World Economic Forum, the Davos agenda, whatever you want to call them.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
those group of elites and elitists who are
Mhm.
pushing agendas to alter the course of the world, it will not be good for them. And I like that. I don't want it to
Yeah,
be good for them. I want them to
I
fail. I
agree.
hope they crash and burn. I hope they all fucking die horrible deaths. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, Klaus Schwab, you gotta go. Bill Gates, gotta go. Even Jane
Yeah.
fucking Goodall, you gotta go. You're an elitist trash. You look down on humanity. Like, I don't like that. I don't. Like, I
Mhm.
want these people to go to hell, and I want them to leave citizens alone, and I want them to stop trying to shape reality, and shape society, and shape the environment, and the narrative and everything. Government mandates and laws and
Mhm.
legislation, like, they need to stop, and we need somebody who is not on their side. And I'm sorry, Kamala is the pick for the establishment in the liberal world order. They want her. All of their goons are for her, and just
Mhm.
based on that alone, that's why I'm not for her. Like, straight up.
Yeah, I think that they definitely want the Hunger Games to play out. I mean, you know, and they're all on the chessboard, and there are white pieces and black pieces, and this is that. I mean, Alice in Wonderland down the rabbit hole on the chessboard, and it's all of that, and it's the great alchemical accumulation right now. We're kind of like that like kind of that X spot, and I do believe this time we go galactic, not like Atlantis the first time where everything gets blown up and we start back over at Amoeba. I think, yeah, I do believe we go galactic this time. So how that
Well,
plays
shoot.
out. And he did, and Joe Rogan in the interview, he did mention Space Force, and so and of course these people just know. And then the people that are really running the show, we'll never know their names. And so, what does that look like? And when Donald Trump said something, he goes about Elon Musk, he goes, he's from another planet. And I thought, that motherfucker knows something. I already think he has Neuralink in there, but when he said that, I was like, okay, fucker, he is from another planet. But tell
He's
me,
like,
I want to know
he's
what the fuck is going on.
he's tapped into the
Give me the dirt.
clockwork elves. Just kidding. The
I want
DMT
to
elves,
fucking
whatever
know.
people call them.
So I do believe he's from another planet, and I do believe that we're going through really profound evolutionary changes. And looks good, girl. Uh, and some of us are going. Put it this way: I'm glad I don't have cognitive dissonance, because I don't see. Well, I think it's. I do think it'll be crazy regardless of who wins,
Oh,
but
I do
I
too.
can't
It's gonna be a
imagine.
madhouse.
Yeah.
I
But then
mean,
I say that, like, I can't imagine being, like, not seeing it, but then I guess if I wasn't seeing it, I wouldn't be seeing it, so, it's just very strange, and, yeah, very, very strange.
I
Today
also
was
like,
the
like I don't want to be one of those people though that if like Trump wins that you're like, ha, like in your face. Like I do think we should leave space for people to come back to the
Sure,
table. Like I think that's a
sure,
classic blunder too that both sides would make,
yeah,
even the right too, like being too boastful and a little too like uh willing to like nah, 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 like we won you, like I don't like that either though, because it's
sure,
like at the end of the day, like these are our countrymen, like these are our neighbors, and these are our friends and family and community too. It's like everybody
mhm,
needs to be able to come back into the herd, and it's like
sure,
I
and
hope that
it's a big bamboozle, and everybody's been bamboozled, and to what degree and how and when they wake up and, for whatever reason, people come to their truth in their own time, or they're waking up and some people never do it, and it's accepting that. I think during these times it gets a little heated because it's like you can kind of feel the pressure of if that side wins, how fucked up the potential to be much, much quicker in the fuck uppery. And like if you can't see through like a Bill Gates and how and even the Diddy and the all these dots that are connecting to a much more nefarious. I mean, government is black ops. It just is, and so uncovering that truth of the occulting side of things is um, not pretty. Which is why if it's sovereign and there's no government, it's beautiful because nobody's capable of having that kind of power over anyone, and nobody can ever know what's best for you other than you, really, at the end of the day. And I suppose if you follow, for me, just following the conversation of anarcho-capitalism and having these conversations about what would it look like, the mental gymnastics of a free market economy, and of course, Michael Malice. I'm that's my lane.
I
I'm
like
going to talk.
Michael Malice.
Yeah, I really like him. And anyway, I'm off on a tangent. I'm not really sure how I got on that.
No worries. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen either way. Like I'm gonna just, no matter who wins, there's no authority outside of me. I'm just gonna, if it does go the other way, I'm just gonna hope that I can stay in my lane, and I'm just gonna keep living the way I've been living. It's like I
Mhm.
hope that it doesn't affect me either way too much. But the things that do affect me are the day to day, the gas prices, the
Yeah,
food. Like these are things that affect
yeah,
everybody, especially if you're like, I mean, even middle class, hell, even upper middle class people are
yeah.
having to be like, how much is that? You know what I mean? At Costco, like, geez, like the only
Mhm,
people that it doesn't touch are the extremely wealthy and rich
mhm.
and elite. And then, like, you see who most of those people are going for. And, like, I wish that people, my biggest call to wake people up is like the all of these, like they don't represent you, and they're telling you they don't. Like if you're going to say there was some sort of party switch in the 60s or whatever when the Republicans and Dems switched and the Democrats became the pro-black party, which I think is utter bullshit, honestly. But there has been a switch where the Republican Party now represents the common man, the blue-collar worker, the middle class to the underclass. You know what I mean? It's like there has been a switch because the Democrats are just so nonchalant and willy-nilly about things that affect people so greatly, like being able to feed your kids. You know what I mean? Like and it'll be their own hubris, I think, that will be their downfall in the end, because I don't know. I don't know if how much worse it would get if Kamala gets in and then the following year people would like, then again, I don't know, because everyone's just so easily swayed and they're led by their emotions. You know what I mean? They're led by, oh, racism and DEI and, you know, abortion and, you know, those aren't the single party issues that I vote on, you know?
Yeah,
So,
that was another thing that Jimmy Dore had said when he was on the Tucker interview. He said, as a Democrat, being pro-choice, and this year at the convention, like, no, it's pro-abortion, like, and just how it's just so weird how, I don't know, man, women have gone. It's just
there's a
I
there's a cat.
nobody's taken any. What's that?
There's a cat like growling right outside my window. I can hear them. They're like,
Oh,
"Rah."
there's coyotes in my window last time.
Oh yeah, I do remember
Yeah, it's
that.
just so weird to me how I mean, what is it that Trump said that's so crazy about abortion? There's nothing. He's not taking anything away. He's leaving the state rights, and it shouldn't be a surprise to you if you live in a state like you're outraged. You live in that state, move states. Like you'll get your abortions, ladies. Like this is, and then I don't know, it's just the eugenics, how people can't see the eugenics involved and haven't done any of the history on Margaret Singer, and that they still can't see the agenda. Like, why are these subjects always in every fucking election? They're hot button topics for a reason.
Wasn't that the whole thing? Like, why didn't they solve it? Like, that's the thing, is like, a lot of Dems did kind of wake up and they did blame Obama, because there was a time when he had, you know, and also Ruth Gay, whatever her name was, that Supreme Court justice that passed, Ruth Ginsburg
Mm,
or whatever her name was.
mhm.
You know, she sat on the seat for so long, and then it was like they had the opportunity at some point to codify Roe into law, and they didn't, because women's rights and abortion, they actually don't care about it. And if they did, they would have codified it into law. But it's too important to use it as a hot button issue to vote
Mhm.
every 4 years. And without that, how would they garner the support of all the women, how would they get everybody riled up about abortions? Because guaranteed, even if they had a packed Supreme Court, I mean, they might finally, but I almost doubt that they would codify it, because then, like I already said, what issue would they have to raise the fucking banners every 4 years to get women and people riled up to go vote if it wasn't at the threat of abortions? You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't. There was these are strategic. If they really cared about women and this right, why didn't they codify it into law? They didn't, for a very strategic reason, because they need that to get people to vote for them. So they
Yeah, and get
don't
riled
care
up.
about you. All they
There
care
was,
about is
I can't
using it
remember. It was
against you.
there was maybe several years ago. There was a big thing with Planned Parenthood, and they were shutting funding. And somebody started a GoFundMe, and it raised like 10 times more than the funding would have been. And it was like, here's such a solution. Like, make things GoFundMe's. And then if you like
Private.
the way that they're done, then refund them the next year. Have your local government have there be a section on who's going to pave the roads and win that contract, and that's your local road contract. And if they do a shitty job, because you're never too big to fail, so you
Imagine
just
personal responsibility, people taking
imagine that.
their own issues into their own hands and donating with their own dollars what they see fit to donate to, instead of
Mhm.
paying taxes to a government and then them distributing your tax
And
money.
blowing people up with it,
Yeah, killing people, starting
and then
wars.
people that can't. And that's why taxation is theft, but because I pay taxes, I get to voice my opinion to the mob, and this mob won this time, and then the other mob's going to win that time, and everybody
These
just
cats
keeps
are
winning,
fighting.
or
Damn.
they're mating.
Oh yeah, probably. They're like, I could just imagine like a dirt ball, like as they're like rolling around. Sorry, that was crazy.
Cool.
And then I heard like nickel bark in the other room because she heard it.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, "What's
What?
that?
What?
Cat fight?"
Yeah. Yeah, it's just this insane fighting over um
But
I
they're
don't
also
know.
using women. They're using us. They're using your
Sure,
emotions. They're using you for
sure.
votes. Like they don't care about you. They don't care about codifying abortion. They don't care about guaranteeing that right to you. They don't care about you. They only care about you voting for them to further their machine, to further their power hold, to further their grasp, their death
Mhm.
grip on power that they won't fucking let go of. They don't care
Death
about you,
cult.
women. Sorry, I don't
Nope.
know who told you that the Democratic Party cares about women, but they do not. Newsflash.
It's a death cult.
Yeah, nice joke though. That's funny. I had a good laugh at that. Thank you. Um, Imagine thinking the government cares about you.
Or not believing that it could be that nefarious. It's like, what the fuck? Have you opened a history book? Can you, if you had a coloring book in front of you and it said like little dots and it had 1, 2, 3, can you connect if it told you where the fucking dots were? One, two,
No,
three,
no
and
can
then
do.
eventually it makes a little picture. Like, good God. I mean, I know that I got a few things going for me. I'm a 5-1 in human design. I got an 8th house sun, and I'm an INFJ. I get it. I'm still not the brightest motherfucker in the box of anything, and I can fucking connect the dots,
Yeah.
you
I'm like,
know?
what you
And I
y'all
mean, it
blind or
does.
something? You need some braille? Can you connect the braille dots? Shit, what you need? Like,
And the dots I connect, astrology and all these people would say I'm fucking crazy. So fine, I'm fucking crazy. But
oh, I love being crazy. Me too.
I love being a weirdo.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's my favorite when guys start you meet a guy and they just talk about how all of their exes are crazy and I'm like, all of them? Sounds like a personal problem shit. Like
All of them.
all of them have been just crazy girls.
Crazy
Like
motherfuckers.
sounds like you have good taste in women. They sound fun. I'd like to meet them at a party. But
Well, I
yeah, I
have
don't know. We'll see what the heck is gonna
I
happen
have a
when
private client in oh, what?
oh
I
no, go
couldn't
ahead.
hear you. You cut out.
Oh, can you hear me?
What were you saying? You cut out on my end.
Oh, I don't. It's okay. You go ahead. You have a private client?
No, I was just kind of, I'm starting to fade out. It's been on an hour and 15 minutes. I can feel myself kind of fading out.
Me
Yeah, I
too.
have a private client in town, and that's been beautiful. And I just love when synchronicities and thoughts are connecting. And she's an INFJ as well. And so that was fun to find out. And yeah, just getting back into coaching and then the collaboration that I've got going with the doctor.
Which is so
So it's
awesome. I
been
definitely want to talk to you about that like someday. Like maybe even on the
okay.
phone, I'll call you so you can tell me how that's going. It seems so cool. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think next Monday is, I mean, next Tuesday is the election, right?
election. So we'll be
So
back.
if Monday,
Yeah.
we'll see what these early voting results look like. From what I understand, early voting is like heavily favoring Trump, like heavily, heavily. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I am voting, I think, on election day. I'm gonna go in the
I'm gonna vote on
morning.
election day.
Yeah, I've gotten all these calls to like do it early, but I'm like, I just don't want to. And also, like, there've been some, I know it hasn't been that widespread, but there have been some news stories of like ballot drop box locations like being like firebombed or
I
people like
saw that today.
destroying it. So I'm like, I would just rather go in there and do it than risk having like, I don't know, it messed with, you know?
Yeah. I kind of wanted to get a pulse on. I kind of know what it is here in Sedona. It's not going to be like in a big city where it's crazy. it's going to be, there might be times during the day where there's a line, but it's not going to be anything too, I can't imagine there's going to be too much of a ruckus anywhere around here in Sedona.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of polling places in Vegas, so I'm like happy about that at
yeah,
least. I don't know. I have to find out where my specific one is. I don't know if there is a specific
mine's
one.
at the country club, the golf course. So
Ooh, that's fancy.
yeah, it's right there, and super simple, about
Nice.
5 minutes away.
So yeah, I guess we'll be back. We'll talk about some suspense leading up to the big day, and
Yeah,
if
I
anything
can't
else,
believe it's here.
if anything else big happens, I don't know. Halloween is on Thursday,
Yeah, yeah.
so
And we're
that's
in very
fun.
scorpionic energy with a lot of Uranus and unpredictability. Mars is doing quite a bit. We got several planets in retrograde. Jupiter's farting around there, and there's a lot of well, the veils between the worlds are the thinnest right now,
Mm.
and there this will be a very witchy Halloween, which I fucking love. I love everything about this season. I love everything about yeah, the astrology of right now is pretty powerful, and uh yeah, I mean it's always powerful, but there are moments in time where everything's just a little bit more coincidentally, synchronistically more of a oomph to its magic. And
Yeah, of course. Even depending on like, the conversations happening between the planets, like a square,
mhm,
conjunction, a sextile. Like
mhm.
there's all these things, that make up astrology. Like that's why it's like there are some times when there's like more chill astrology and everything is
Mhm.
peaceful and balanced. And then there's times when it's like kind of chaotic up there. And then like you
Yeah,
look down at the earth and it's also mirroring that it's chaotic. Maybe even in your own life it's chaotic when like there's like chaotic, things going on. And
yeah,
it's like that's one of the
yeah.
interesting things to pay attention to. But
But Sarah and I both have an eighth house sun, and then I have a Scorpio, which is scorpionic. And then I have my part of fortune is in Scorpio, and my Neptune's in Scorpio. So I just because I honor natural law and the seasons, I'm not on the, I mean, I live here on this planet, but I'm not aligned with the Gregorian calendar and its celebrations. Um, so, it's just, I, yeah,
yeah, I have
I,
same. I mean, I have three planets in the eighth house, and then
yeah,
I have Mars and Saturn in Scorpio in my chart. So
yeah. So this is, yeah, I
I do
like this.
well in this kind of water.
I do too. I
I don't
do
know.
too.
Like, it's interesting if you look at like birth chart and just like the home life that shaped you or whatever. But like I can kind of traverse chaotic waters.
Yeah.
Maybe
And the
even
darker
or even
side
deeper
behind the
waters,
veil,
darker side
beyond the
behind the
veil,
veil, where
the
some people
subconscious when we
some
travel and
people
do this
pull away
work.
from that or it freaks them out or you know what I mean,
Hmm.
just for whatever reason. I
Hmm.
don't shy away from that. Like I feel like I can
Hmm.
peer behind the veil and go dive down deep, and where other people are more comfortable, doing circles in the shallows or whatever. And it's like that's okay. But
I have
um
Persephone conjunct my sun. So literally my story is of Pluto and the
going into
underworld
the
and the
underworld.
queen of the underworld. Yeah. So I mean, uh,
Queen of
yeah.
Flowers going into the underworld.
Yeah, and I remember when I first found I might have been in acting school. If not, I was definitely exploring the mystery schools, and so I must have been in acting school. And I remember when I first heard the story of Persephone, I was like, oh yeah. I remember being catapulted into the story, and that's the power that archetypes when you're with them and you're walking with them. It's such an incredible it's just an incredible creative story to and way to live your life, connecting with them because they are us.
Yeah, applying it to your own life, like
Hmm.
yeah, because
Absolutely.
yeah, she was like taken there against her will, and I'm sure it was very sad, but I think in the long run she did end up like loving Hades, but there was like there's a tragic kind of side to it where she could come up once a year, and you know what I mean? It
Sure.
was like, yeah, it's again, it's an archetype. Greek
Yeah,
mythology is beautiful, wonderful archetype. Same with Roman. A lot of it um also coincides with astrology,
yeah.
astrological archetypes, you know, so
Mhm.
it's really cool. But I mean, we'll see what happens. Shoot, I'm gonna go out on Wednesday night. I'm just gonna go to karaoke, and um, my friend is gonna be Chun-Li from the video game Street Fighter, and I'm gonna be Sonya Blade from Mortal Kombat. We're just gonna be like, yeah, like
I love it. A chance
it'll,
to play.
yeah, it'll be fun.
I love
Also, I
it.
love this strong female archetype too. You know, like there have been times when I've been like Cupid or something. Like last year, I was Goldilocks and the Three Bears, like all cutesy and girly. But then
Yeah,
there have other times when I've been like Kill Bill. I've been the one girl from Resident Evil. Like I do love like a strong female like fighter
yeah.
archetype. I love
There's
that.
nothing to do here. I
Huh?
mean, there's nothing to do here to even
I
dress
know.
up. I might paint one of the horses and do some pictures or something, just,
That'd be
for fun.
cute.
I just don't know, maybe try to figure out what I could do, the 3 of them, and then help brother, like, I'll have to think about that.
Or for the
3
dog,
white
yeah, get
horses.
some sheets and cut some holes in it for the dogs and make them sit there and be little ghosts.
Yeah,
I don't think
okay.
the horses would like that or sit through that, like just having the two
No,
of
one
them.
year I put just gloves on Paladin's ears, and he
I
went
think
like
I
this,
remember that.
I put a wreath around his neck. That's what we did that. Oh, I guess that maybe that was Christmas.
That's cute. Love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Aw.
Well, we finally got
Yeah.
some rain tonight, so anyway, I was gonna tell you, putting Pal on the stuff anyway.
Aw,
Wouldn't
yeah.
even make
It's a
sense
little
to
chilly.
telling you what I was gonna do with the
It's
horses tonight.
been dusty as hell here because the winds all day and all last night. So like if at sunset you looked around the valley and it was just like this thick haze of like dust and like I mean, it made a cool sunset, but it's from
Yeah.
and then you just know you're like breathing it in. You're like, great, the air quality is just shit. Like, are there any
Uh,
questions from anyone?
well, he's he said if what side when, and then I figured he probably figured that out. And then his last comment was, "Are y'all barefoot right now?" So I kind of stopped paying attention to um, what was going on over there in chat.
Okay, all right.
It's
Um,
kind of
I'm
just,
barefoot a lot of the time, but not sure why that's pertinent to
yeah,
anything.
I'm grounding. I'm
Yeah.
always, yeah, who knows? So, um, it was a new watcher, and there's, Pete Pablo 1999. Thanks for tuning in, and like and subscribe. And we'll be here next week at 8 o'clock too,
Yeah.
barefoot.
Yeah, barefoot. We'll be here talking shit barefoot. Maybe not. Maybe I'll put some slippers on just to like, you know, switch things up a little bit.
Yeah, right? There you go. Well, I love you, girl, and have a beautiful week, and
I love you too.
have fun. And I can't wait to see the pictures of your Halloween outfit,
Gonna
and
be ridiculous.
kisses
I'll
to
show
your
you.
babies.
I'll send you a picture in Instagram of the costume.
Okay, good. We'll
But
give
you
both
guys
your
take it
yes.
easy. Be safe. I hope everybody votes. And I'm usually not one to say that, but I do think this time it's a little pertinent. And be safe out there, guys. And we'll shoot the shit with you next week.
Yeah, I love you.
Love you. Signing off.
Signing off.
Bye.
Bye.